everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa, and we have got some crazy stuff going on, but we've got just the guy to walk us through it. My friend and yours, SaVant, SaVant is here. You also know him as Ben, and we're going to walk through a couple of Elon's tweets in the last 24 hours-ish. He's been making nods to Q and the Matrix, talking about which pill will you choose, Dayquil, NyQuil. We've got even more than that right after this. So give us a like, share the video. I'll be right back with Ben right after this. Welcome back, Skullcap SaVant.
Hey, hi everyone.
How's it going?
It's going about as well as anybody can expect to go. As long as these days I get, at least 1 or 2 days where I get to do deep dives into the bookshelf. It's pretty good. And I'm doing more of that lately. So
the bookshelf. Ooh, I watched another really cool movie. It's called Transcendence.
Sounds familiar. I don't know if I've seen it though.
You may. The guy ends up uploading his brain into a computer. It made me think of like Uncle Cliff one day. Probably.
He's not going to do. The Cliff would never do that shit. He's like anti-bio cybernetics, I should say.
You think?
Yeah, because he criticizes the Elohim all the time because that's what's in the Talmud. The Elohim have written in the Talmud kind of archetypal structure of their six genders between breeding female and breeding male, as he puts it. And they achieve those 6 genders mostly by way of like cybernetics and machine. And this is how they've unnaturally extended their lives way too long. And there's this massive psychosis karma buildup because they're not dying to resolve to go through the metempsychoses.
Yeah, I see.
So they're all pissed and just they're just like enraged because they're psychotic, because they've lived too long, because they've cybernetically enhanced themselves this way,
Maybe that's what happened to that guy on the house floor last night.
What happened on the house floor?
Did you see? Oh gosh, was it the House or the Senate floor? The guy, the Obama wannabe, Hakeem Jeffries.
Okay. He had like a
spoke
episode, his brain implant chip fried or something.
I think so. He was trying to do like a filibuster thing, and he spoke for like, I don't know, 20 hours nonstop. And he was like flailing his arms wildly and like acting totally crazy.
20 hours nonstop.
Yeah, it was right before, they all quit and
what do you even say? Do you like just philander up there and say like whatever comes to mind? There's no way you can prepare.
Mostly he said Trump a lot and oh gosh, where is it?
How bizarre. Just that he's doing it for that long. Like what is the purpose of this? Like, because people can still like go home, right? They don't have to sit there and listen to that jargon if they don't want to. It's just that a
lot of times if you're able to see if they do pan around, there's no one there typically.
So it's just the chairperson that is in charge of the committee that has to sit through all that shit, or what? Like how?
I don't even know. I just saw it was just ridiculous. I can't find it now, but I'm probably misspelling because I'm sure he doesn't spell things correctly.
Yeah, I mean, almost like it happening on April Fool's Day too. It's like, what kind of app is this kind of stuff sometimes?
It was
because there has to have been a lot of misdirection behind the scenes yesterday in advance of today.
Virtue signaling in Congress for 20 hours.
Virtue signaling.
That's what somebody was saying. Agreed. 20 minutes. It was in Congress. So let me see if I can find. I'm just trying to find a quick video, but I'm not able to find it really easy, and I don't know why.
Either way, it's probably because it's on C-SPAN, and who clips C-SPAN, you know? And so whatever. The fact that it happened is probably all that matters. That they're kind of like, it might be helpful, like, what is, if there's even just like an article to hear what he was like.
It's a side thought anyway, but it made me think of it. Oh, here it is. Okay. Cory Booker. I'm sorry. It was Cory Booker.
Oh yeah, I know Cory.
Not Hickey. Okay. That was
hyperbole extraordinaire.
Yeah, Cory Booker. Was like just this.
This is exactly the kind of shit that Cory Booker would do. My God.
Because they're letting polluters pollute more. I won't stand for the collective assaults on the Constitution.
This is just par for the course for him, Lisa. This is how he is. This is him. This is the character of Cory Booker. Like, he's never any other way other than this.
Threatening and bullying other branches of government.
Crazy pants.
With his big eyes coming out of his forehead, like he's in the Who Framed Roger Rabbit movie, you know?
So I was a optometric assistant before I got married and had kids and all that, and I was pre-optometry. I'm going to go into all that stuff, and that is a sign of psychotic or neurotic, like crazy pants issue.
Yeah,
I can't remember the technical term. I didn't actually.
Off their rocker. I mean, in some variety, of some form or fashion.
When you can see the white in their eyes above and
he doesn't blink.
And below, yes, above and below the iris, or when you can see the white above and below, that is a sign of mental instability. I'm just saying. Look into it. You can search it.
And how much of the Jose Delgado mind control MK Ultra experiments from TCU is being implemented into his noggin wirelessly right now, just to give him the cocaine-like energy to do this for 20 hours?
20 hours. And didn't he need a potty break, for God's sake? I don't know. I just thought this was
it's got to be wavelength manipulation. In my eyes, it's like, how else do you get that kind of energy out of somebody unless you're remote, you know, sitting there sending beams to their noggin to excite them. Just probably getting his whole innards microwaved for 20 minutes from his controller, or 20 hours.
Anyway, such a side note. Sorry, I got off on a tangent there.
It's a pretty funny side note. I didn't know it happened. It gave me a good laugh.
So crazy.
But today, the tariffs, the reciprocal tariffs hit today, and
the kind of reciprocal tariffs.
I know that's what was like to me. That was just like, well, he made it reciprocal by way of like the way Trump laid it all out by saying, country X, country Y, country Z, they tariff us 300%. This country tariffs us 155%, you know, all that kind of stuff by way of saying that first to butter everybody up by, you know, he made it.
And then he knocked it all down and said, okay, these countries, we're going to knock it down to this amount, and then we're going to do half with them. And maybe that's because the U.S. People actually do purchase items from those countries, and we know that means those prices are going to go up, and so we're going to pay that. I don't know. I'm totally guessing. I'm not completely happy with it, but you did see a lot of countries where it's 10 and 10. So and he said that is to make sure that there's no cheating, and that is reciprocal, and that was like Brazil, Mexico, UK,
Japan was on there, China.
Yeah, Japan. Yeah, a lot of our partners.
The thing that he did say, like you just mentioned, that makes it somewhat true, probably, in terms of the market dynamics of things and how implying those things could drop prices for us, is that in theory, if we're shipping things to other countries, let's just call it eggs. We're not really shipping that many eggs overseas, but let's just call it eggs just because it's easy. It's in the news. Because it's cheaper for that country to do it because we're only charging them 2.5% tariffs, like he says. Mm-hmm. If he then imposes 24% tariffs on said eggs, 10x what they were, country stops buying eggs. We now have a vastly increased supply of eggs that was normally going to go overseas. Now we have to do what with those? Drop the fucking price to sell them. So that's how that market dynamic does work this way. And this is what people probably don't think too many steps ahead when they're like, how could this possibly be good for us? What do you mean? Even just let a week go by. Like he also said things like there's going to be like interest, like if for buying American cars, there's going to be interest rate tax breaks that you can take just because you bought American. The government will eat the rest of the interest rate for you. Good, great.
Yeah, but that doesn't encourage me because that to me means there's still going to be taxes.
Well, they also said everything about abolishing the income tax and
and get rid of all those, because he was talking about at the very beginning, he said before 1913 there wasn't any, because
I know, but the very thing that they're arguing about in the Senate right now is the bill for all of this. So directly to commence after his speech ended, the Senate floor immediately started session, and they're arguing over this very bill now, which is the whole thing where we have to extend the debt. We have to also give the people a tax break. What that looks like, we don't even know. We just know it's in the bill that they're discussing right now. And it doesn't seem like it's that big of an omnibus thing. It seems like it's a pretty straightforward one. What did he call it? The American... He had some like the Beautiful American Act or something, the Beautiful American Bill. What is this?
They had the SAVE Act, but that was, I think that was different. That was about
the One Big Beautiful Bill. That's what he calls it. So that's what they're arguing for right now. The One Big Beautiful Bill. And the One Big Beautiful Bill apparently has outlined within it provisions to go back to pre-1929, pre-1913 government provisioning here, because he was kind of like dancing around that, it seems, in the speech. But we'll wait to see, I guess, on what's happening there. I don't think there's anything as sweeping as abolishing income tax entirely yet, but
no.
Interesting, right? The One Big Beautiful Bill. What a stupid name. Only a name Trump could come up with. And
I'm glad that his wives didn't let him name the children. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So we're waiting to see how this all plays out. Obviously, how are the markets doing? Have you even checked?
I haven't even looked. No, I have been
working
on my business and hanging out with my dogs and my husband.
Futures tumble, it says. Well, that's not a surprise. I guess we'll see how the forces of silver and crypto and everything do.
So I want to talk about Elon. And
bring up the tweet that you wanted to discuss there.
I have a couple. So he's doing all these nods to Q and the Matrix and all this.
I saw the pill one, the Dayquil, NyQuil.
Okay, well, I'm going to do another one first, and then we'll do the pill, the Matrix one, the pill.
Okay.
I want to do this one first because this goes along with, this was the one from, I think this was last night. This is a nod to Q, the wheels of justice. Everybody's ready for the arrest. Everybody's tired. They're like, shut up or put up.
Just fucking arrest somebody now.
Yes,
and then keep arresting people, but just do the first one, for God's sake.
We've encountered, there's really so much for it. It's deciding what should be prosecuted first, because it's such a long list. You have to actually prioritize the list. We convey the list to the Department of Justice. The DOJ has a process that they go through to review and think about it. The wheels of justice turn slowly. In fact, obviously, I have a maniacal sense of urgency. So to me, when I see that terrible fraud has happened, I'm like, why haven't we arrested someone already? But as the saying goes, the wheels of justice turn slowly but surely. And I think probably the person that stole 400,000 Social Security numbers, at least, maybe more, will be arrested hopefully this week. with respect to the non-governmental organizations, these sort of fake NGOs, I think there needs to be a number of arrests in that regard as well, because these are fake charities where mostly Democrats, I don't want to be clear. There's sometimes a little bit of Republican in there, because they sometimes throw the Republicans a bone to say, "Hey, be quiet about this." So that's where you start getting the uniparty thing going on. But it is overwhelmingly to Democrats, and they give give billions of dollars to NGOs run by Democrats that then go through a whole network of additional NGOs. It's a giant money laundering scheme.
It goes from one NGO to the next NGO to the next NGO, and I can show
Oh,
more.
yeah.
This says, so this is a Q post, and it says, general statement. We understand there's an extreme fatigue and frustration. RE, the wheels of justice slow.
Yeah, wheels of justice is a weird phrase anyway, because scales of justice is the parlance that people usually use when they're discussing things of waiting. And like, justice doesn't usually have a speed that you associate with it. It can be swift. Like, you have heard that, like, the Lady Justice is swift with, even like you can hear that verbosity even like on a Lord of the Rings flick. You can kind of hear like, for Rohan, the justice of the sword strikes swiftly, or something. And so it's out of place is what I'm trying to get at as a phrase in and of itself. So that's noteworthy.
To me, this was definitely.
I have to note though, this is what I would probably consider to be potentially not real Q, because by this time the trip codes had changed a couple of times. I always look at the trip code, the pre-trip code ones way different than I look at the post-trip code change posts.
So even if he were to make a comment that nodded to the Chan boards, you would think it's not a nod if it was not pre.
Yeah, essentially, it's not perfect because there were still. It's basically when it was still on 4chan is a good rule of thumb. When you can look to the boards of the 4chan post specifically.
So you dismiss all of 8chan?
No, I don't dismiss it. I still followed it for some time, but the whole dynamic changed. There was a cohesion of narrative style in the pre-trip code change. And then the narrative style by which the drops occurred now is inconsistent. And it was almost like, it wasn't the same entities, but also like they didn't even do a halfway decent job, it didn't seem, of following the same kind of psychological leading
rhythm,
on.
or
Rhythm's probably a good word for it, right? There's something out of tune. Yeah. Something different. And a lot of it had to do with, if you just look at the amount of declarative that was now in the Q post versus questions, because the declarative, like, this is this way, so take it this way. It was almost like now you had a bunch of soft-minded, whoa, Q made a post, so they could almost sneak anything in at that point too. So I was always kind of really on point from that point forward.
They weren't asking you to question it, they were telling
right. Yeah, exactly. And there was that huge tonal shift. Most of the early Q stuff was encouraging the audience to probe, and Q wouldn't chime in again until somebody correctly answered the post in the Chan board. And you would say, good job, Anon. And then here's another piece, here's another breadcrumb. And so, and then it would be another question. And so this style was several months, like 6 to 9 months. And I started in, I think, 30th of October, 2017. Yeah. It was coincident with the Las Vegas shooting. And so I was there the first Chan post with Q because I was all digging into the Las Vegas shooting that on the boards, and there it was. But anyway, matter of consequence, just for anybody looking at posts, look at the timestamp of them. Yes. This is the way I examine them, and for better, for worse, it's just food for thought.
Okay, so speaking of timestamp and rhythm, and seeing rhythm in posts and all that, today, let's see.
But what you brought up, by the way, it's definitely noteworthy. Just because, like I led with wheels of justice, it's a weird term. So, because who says wheels of justice?
Yeah, not me. So here is the next little thing, and this one does does connect to the timestamp of Trump's.
Yeah, this one's great. I love this that you shared this today. This is just good.
So this one was a nod to Trump's post. No. Is this the first part or the second part? There's two. This might be the second one.
1:11 p.m. was the original one.
Just 1:11. Okay, this is one, but there's another one that has to do with the dash as well. So I have another tweet that has to do with the dash, and that dash clicks to.
But what we're looking at here is a White House official announcement, correct?
Yes. This was, I want to make sure that I'm sharing the right ones. Okay, well, we'll talk about this one and then I'll find the dash one. The dash one is something that it connects with a dash on the cue boards. And it's a timestamp of something that Trump tweeted or posted on Truth. And then that connects with, anyway.
Okay, so they're using it like a proper proof, as they used to call it.
Yeah, like a proof. Yes.
Yeah.
And maybe it's in here. I'll get to it. I found like too many things. But yeah, so this is from Brainstorm Joe or Joe Rambo. And he's been finding stuff that goes to, if you guys follow Derek Johnson, he's been talking about the dash and how we've been in a military operation and connecting it with the chart, the beautiful chart that saved Trump's life. He loves that chart. He kisses it every night. And if you look at that chart, it shows the day and it says the day that Trump left office. And then Derek Johnson talks about the dash and all this. And then here he says April 2nd is Liberation Day. The White House just happens to put a statement out declaring April 2nd is Autism Awareness Day. Well, what do this?
And like you said, so just to be clear, the post on 1769 and 1768, both of those Q posts. There's a proof that references this over on Truth Social to one of Trump's other truths or whatever they call it.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's how
he must have said something on the 30th of July or something of this last year that was addressing autists, maybe, or whatever the hell it was, huh?
Did I send you that?
You may. My phone's charging on the other. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Anyway, the point of this one was they were tying it to a Q post that says, "Feel proud, autists, anons, and patriots. You did this. You're taking back control. You have the power. Stay the course." So today on Liberation Day, the White House puts out a thing and says World Autism Awareness Day.
Well, and even aside from Q calling out the autists, that's how we all labeled ourselves. So before Q ever labeled the autist community, it was all the self-ascribing autists that were doing the decoding that identified collectively that way, right? So it is also significant that on Liberation Day, Autism Awareness Day, almost as if to say, thanks, Anons. It's kind of like, good job, Anons. We've got this far, and it almost is. How do you say? Wisdom is its own reward, as this is also its own reward, probably to most of the community, because they maybe see, okay, there's still arrests coming. Let's fucking hope,
Everyone's hoping. Okay, here's the other one. Here's the other one that Joe posted about the dash. Okay, so Trump over on Truth Social at 7:06 posts this. It's Liberation Day at 7:06, and so then if you go to let's see, it talks about the dash, And if you go to, then if you go to the 706 post, it's a dash.
Yeah.
On the tan board.
So this is still real Q, by the way. February 10th, 2018. If you're so like I'm pretty sure it was like 10 months. So it was like maybe August of 2018, something like around there, where the first trip codes change. I'd have to go look it up.
And so the idea is that the dash is the cog.
Well, yeah, continuity of government. Of course it is.
Yes,
like
continuity of government, which Uncle Cliff was showing everyone.
Pretendency. Cliff coined that term way back in 2020, and everybody fucking forgot about the pretendency. It was such a perfect term.
Well, and he told everybody, you know, download this book and you can follow along too. And it was like the Law of War or something like that.
The Devolution Manual. I downloaded that thing. That thing is fascinating. And I got the bioweapons manual too, of like how the military handles bioweapons training. It was like, you can't read all of it. It's thousands of pages.
No, there's huge.
But it's really interesting reference material.
But I got real paranoid that it was going to get deleted, and so I printed like the whole thing.
You printed it physically. Oh man.
Yes.
You know, I'm crazy about that right now. I'm going on. There are all these sites, Lisa. You wouldn't believe what the Russians have PDF copies of.
Oh, I'll have to get that.
I'm finding so much stuff in PDF format from all these different like they're not pirate sites. They're not hosted on an index.
So there's a library that my friend Greg knows about, this online library of like every book that was ever created, that you can get every book for free ever created. And it's like, I'll get the link and give it to you, but you can
compare notes on that kind of thing. It's one of the things I'm trying to do to, you know, for the new channel build that we're doing over on the other podcast for Saturday nights, is offer. Because what I really want to do for paid subscribers over there, this might seem kind of geeky, but like do like research sessions alongside the audience, but they have to have the material to research it. So,
and you want to give all the resources and all that.
Yeah. So we'll see if people actually like want to pay for that as a product. We're gonna have to do it anyway. So, you know,
I am saying what that library is. It's called LibGen.
I've heard that. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and it has like all of these books, and you can download them for free, and it's just a great resource. I shared it with like a bunch of my homeschool mom friends, and
academia.edu is not is it academia? I think or archive.org, excuse me. Archive.org is pretty good too, but it sucks because they don't let you download the PDF. It's just like,
oh no, these are like, you can download all the books and it's all free and really amazing.
Anyway, back on track. So all of this is happening. Continuity government, the dash, like
the dash.
Oh my God, there's this.
The confirmation, today's Liberation Day. And it was my understanding that the reason that that's happening is because it's the end.
Well, remember the Oz Association too with 4-1. Oz in Gematria is 41 and 14. And so regardless of how you write April 1st, whether you're in the UK or here, 1-4 or 4-1, yesterday may have had that little Oz haze to it too. And we're liberating, like, you know, what's the scene where, you know, the wizard goes back on the balloon and exits Oz, or Dorothy exits Oz, and we're gonna see.
So then there's this. When I went to Canada, I thought it was very strange that they did not stamp my passport. And
they didn't stamp your passport. That's pretty noteworthy. Maybe you were just crossing state lines, huh?
Well, then I thought, that's strange. And I was like, oh, Lisa, you're being paranoid. And we were busy, you know, I didn't look through it while I was there. Yeah. And then we came back and, you know, they looked at my passport and talked to me and whatever. But, you know, every time I've gone to Mexico, which is pretty much the only other place I've been, you know, I've been to Jamaica one time. But other than that, that's all I've ever been. And you always get that ka-chink, you know, and you get the little stamp with the ink and all the mess and all that. And so we get home and I text, you know, me, Bix, Amy, Andy, Jenny, and Andy's wife are all in a chat together. And I'm like, did anyone else not get their passport stamped? They're like, nope. I was like, please look. So, what are the odds that I went to Canada and they didn't stamp my passport? Unless, like you said, I'm crossing state lines. Also, what are the odds that a British man, a British banker, is sent to lead Canada right now? He wasn't voted in, but he's put in place, unless it's because he's there to. So right now, my husband is the administrator of probate for his mother's assets because she passed away. Well, what if that's what Carney's doing? We won't listen to this whole video because it's.
I'm going to explain to you exactly what's going on. I know that a lot of you have been following me for a while, especially under the trust and estate administration sides of the world, especially if you're in Canada and the United States, and why I've been moving everybody into a common law organizational trust and trying to protect you and shelter you from the situation that is actually playing out in the general public as we speak. And it's because there's a really big secret that the Canadian citizens, as well as the Americans, are not actually being exposed to or being told. And I'm going to expose to you right now why Mark Carney is actually in Canada. So it actually has to do with Canada being liquidated. Canada is in probate at the moment, which means that the Trust and Estate Administration, he's been appointed as executor on behalf of the Crown to basically liquidate and probate the estate so that Canada can go into the United States of America legally and lawfully. That's actually the right answer. And I know a lot of Canadians in here, especially First Nations and all you guys, are not going to agree with me, but it is what's being done as we speak. And there is a 90-day system going on right now, which is January, February, and March. And that's why the big actions are actually going to take place in March. There's a reason why this is happening. And I know that people don't really know anything about asset-backed securities. That's why Mark Carney is actually here. It's because he was the Governor General of the Bank of Canada, the Governor General of the Bank of England, tied directly to the Crown, which is all of the allodial titles in the asset-backed securities. That's why Justin Trudeau had to step down, and that's why he has to step in to the position of an unelected PM in order to be able to get what's called an administration bond in order to liquidate the affairs, because he is one of the most foremost authorities on asset-backed securities in Canada and the United States. And again, here are some of the examples why probate will be necessary. Financial institutions. In order to release funds from the deceased accounts, a financial institution or a broker, according to internal policy, will require the will to probate unless the value of the accounts is below the threshold. Title of assets. When transferring assets, the ownership of which is recorded in registers, the record-keeping authority must be satisfied that the executor has the power to deal with such assets, meaning they got to be competent. Examples of this class of property are land, bonds, public corporate shares, and valuable art, which can be donated to charity.
What about derivative holdings of all these?
That's just going to go away.
If some of the estate assets are situated outside the province, it is necessary that an application be made to the court in that jurisdiction that the property be dealt with. Probate will have to be issued in the province where the assets are situated, so that the application of resealing or ancillary grant can be made. Involved in litigation. If the estate is involved in litigation, obtaining probate will be necessary. Litigation is actually quite common with the Crown, especially when dealing with First Nations. Now you know why they're doing what they do. Will provided. So let's just move on. I'm going to bring you to the important part. It's the testator's nominated executor. So this has to do with what Queen Elizabeth's orders that just came out and got released, and why you now know why Carney is here. To illustrate the court,
Queen Elizabeth ordered? Is that what you just said?
The testator's nominated executor, even a person
posthumously
or
declared
a
this?
non-resident individual may be appointed. This direction is allowed if the will does not.
Like my husband's mom died, last year in April or something, and we're just now getting things. I mean, it takes a while.
If she had it in her estate, in her will and living trust to execute these orders, I get it. Maybe that's what he's saying and just didn't clarify is probably what you're getting at, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and so it's all going through probate. So it's going through the court systems.
Well, yeah, but that was what was weird to me. If that's the case, there's even more continuity of government aligned kind of, you can't say proof, but there's more evidence toward that, because she died during the continuity of government period where probate would have had to get kicked off.
So her will is null and void, because would that be it? And so that's why it has to go through probate instead of her will being applied to it.
I don't think so. I think like whatever is in a trust too, by the way, like these operate differently. I would say maybe the Crown's association to the Commonwealth, because that's not protected in like any sort of like trust claim by them. That's monarchical rule. So
maybe that's why Trump was talking about like the Virginia Commonwealth, and he would address it as the Commonwealth, not the state. Was he bringing attention to that was the issue? Maybe.
Yeah, there might be some steganography with him mentioning just, yeah.
Interesting. Anyway, I'll share this in the Telegram group so you guys can watch it again or
so is there, like, summarize the rest of it for us if there's any, like, is there anything else other than kind of what he's going on about?
Just going through like how it's going to roll out and why and all that. But I thought it was really interesting when that was my experience of like, coming home and going through my passport, and I'm like,
and so just be clear, your other fellow journeymen to the conference, journeymen and women, they did.
The ones that responded, I didn't get a response from everybody, but the ones that responded did not.
They also, in kind with you, did not get stamped.
Correct. At least 2 other people that responded did not.
Okay. Interesting indeed. Well, you know what else is interesting here too? So today, we also have what Trump is calling American TikTok. Did you see this?
I did not see this.
So that guy, the only thing that reminded me of this is because that guy was doing his thing on TikTok. But this is getting trumped by all of the tariff news. But yeah, so the deadline for that is like this week. So the platform's going to get banned unless like a purchase arrangement can be reached by Friday. It's coming up like this week. The stay of execution for 75 days is over. So now you've got all these companies with the bid, but amidst it all, right before he went on today, I thought this was kind of noteworthy. He made it a point to make statements about the TikTok thing before he went on and did the tariffs. And we're going to call it American TikTok. 50% ownership of American interests, and they're going to only borrow the algorithm from ByteDance, is what he's saying. So ByteDance would only supply like the search algorithm, and then all of the other funneling, it would be American stuff. So maybe all the propaganda component, I don't know. It's weird. But TikTok is all part of the Oz story too, because there's that character TikTok, the big wine, and so wherever TikTok comes up coincident with other things, it's just funny.
Well, and that's where Doge to me is the little dog, is Toto.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good way to interpret it, isn't it?
Pulls back the curtain and exposes.
Oh yeah. You're right about that. Good job. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't see that. That's an obvious one, like right in front of my nose. My goodness. Yeah.
There was that's what I used as a thumbnail for today's show was
is it really nice? I didn't see.
And it shows I don't know if I can pull it up.
Yeah, that's so see, that's interesting. So that's all Oz too.
Let's see if I can
mother effer.
I'll see if I can share this screen.
But TikTok itself and the clock and time and history and us not ever having used clocks prior to like 500 years ago, there you go. It's a Ben Garrison cartoon. So even Ben Garrison's getting onto the, yeah.
The little Illuminati pyramid over there in the corner.
Yeah. More audits, create fear. No.
But in the movie, the dog pulled the curtain back. But
of course, yeah.
And pulled the curtain back in this one.
But. Yeah.
And of course, distracting all of us with the fear porn. I'll put you in prison. I'll seize your bank accounts. Pay your fair share.
Oh my God. The Senate hearing, the Senate floor today was so funny to listen to just the first remarks. They're just like, we need to not focus so much on the fact that these sweeping reforms are going to be damaging. And I love the examples. What about all of those poor car salesmen that exist out in the world that are just trying to feed their families? They tried to choose car salesmen as the profile for people to relate to, and it's classically the opposite of what people find is trustworthy and like want to go to bat for those people. You know?
My husband he worked for 35 years, and like people don't trust them, and
that's right.
And attorneys.
It's not that they're not owed the trust; it's just that's the profile, right?
No,
like,
they're making a deal, and nobody. Hey, that's how we met. Was I didn't trust them. And so I was the heat case, and they brought in the big dog, and that's how we met. And so I get it.
You know, I'm going to have to buy a car. I have to buy a car, like I've been telling you, because we're down to sharing one. So we've made it work. And we're just
right now, the car dealerships are flooded with vehicles.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Well, now today with this announcement.
Well, so what they did was there was a 30-day window or something. And so what a bunch of the car dealers manufacturers did was they flooded the US with cars to not have the tariffs put on before the tariff thing was going to start. And so now all these dealerships are sitting with new cars with too much.
Yeah.
This is my understanding. And now they're going to have, and they were apparently like bringing them in when they weren't even finished and whatever, just trying to get them physically here to avoid the tariffs.
Yeah.
Well, now they're going to have this mass inventory, and that's going to mean the prices are going to go down. So we'll see how it goes.
And the interest rate break if you're buying American too, because that's the plan. I'm going to buy a Ford Bronco. I think is what I'm going to buy.
Oh, nice.
Because. I mean, why not? It's just it's an awesome filming vehicle for one. You can take it off anywhere. AI will take away all the attorney's job. Well, Great Kazoo, I would like to think that this is the case. However, if you think about this, and I only speak from expertise because I come from this industry. I worked in the crypto security space in the nascent days back in 2015 to 19 on some patented technology that's back on a shelf now. But this will make sense after I describe this, right? It's an unfortunate circumstance, but lawyers are going to make out like bandits in the crypto era because the contracts that AI has to run on have no basis for writing itself with AI. People have to write those contracts. So the contracts that the AI governs itself on is still a person-guided and person-written affair.
But, okay, so that's part of this conversation. That's only in the bar system, and he calls that out too.
Yes.
And so if that corrupt British accredited registry system goes away, which is
we're not going to have contracts as the basis for the law anymore, right? It's not going to be in my eyes, like here's the blend. Contracts are contracts. Contracts are covenants. Maybe if you change them, if you start even rebranding the crypto world, to start suggesting that's what's really being programmed are crypto covenants rather than smart contracts. They're like, yeah,
then we use smart contracts. We use that's what
they're just set rules. They're rule structures. They're just rules, and they call them whatever you want. There's a legal basis by which these can be architected, and the agreed upon standardization of such rules are set in something. Whether it's going to be bar or not, lawyers are still going to have a part to play because they're experts at figuring out workflows, at very least, with how contracts need to operate and still maintain legitimacy. So we're going to have fewer lawyers probably because I don't think there are too many lawyers that are going to be smart enough in the main to be able to contribute at a high level there. But we're going to have to go to lawyers for key covenants to be created because they have that expert kind of, like I said, the best way I can think about it is understanding.
My understanding that like Reggie's patents get rid of all that, like contracts without
at the level of his patents. Yeah. But his patents don't cover the gamut of telecommunications, for instance, as an industry.
Transfer of value. Yeah, they do.
I'm not talking, well, you'd have to go to court again and re-argue what communications are. Is communications in general a transfer of value?
Sure.
How do you value it, right? Like, I would say maybe that's probably an arguable thing, but since we don't have a basis for it, Reggie's patents rely actually on legal constructs in the first place. They're not enforceable otherwise. So that what we point to as the enforcement mechanism for his patents exists now in this bar created world. So, whatever we do, we're probably going to have to collectively agree to carry some rules forward with us. Like they do. What did Trump say? His first term, it was like, for every new regulation, you have to knock down 2 or 3 old ones.
10.
It might be something like that, but this is a whole topic. I don't mean to be like the naysayer or whatever.
No. I think it's interesting to have a conversation about it, because I thought that's where Cliff was saying, and I thought I had this conversation with you, but maybe it was with another friend of mine, that Cliff was talking about, going into this pirate culture.
Yeah.
And it was going to be that like he was even talking about like kind of breaking rules, but that the authorities couldn't catch up with you because they couldn't chase your pirate ship fast enough or whatever. And so, what is good or bad, but using these honor contracts, and, a good pirate would, so you would enter in a contract, you would both have something that you would lose if the contract defaulted, and that might be your honor. But a good pirate would be known that if you defaulted on a contract with him, he was going to come kill you, and you could count on that.
Well, even a little bit less harsh than that. We were talking about the Orlinda a couple of weeks ago. There's a provision in their honor legal code. It's still a legal code.
Yes,
and it's enforced by like more of a goddess archetype, by the way, because they have these mother oracles that everything has to be kind of run by. And I kind of like that, actually, because the men can just maybe be a little bit too vigilant about things sometimes, right? So anyway, so within what we're discussing, there's provision for if you like wrong your neighbor. I think theft might be one of the things they cover explicitly. They cover different offenses explicitly. And for the theft, it's like, for the first time you steal, you have to pay him back threefold. The second time, you're simply exiled. They fuck off, get out of here, kind of a thing. You can't be trusted. Like, once is a mistake, it's not 3 strikes you're out in their system. Their honor code's a little bit harsher, but I like it better because of that. Because it, you really, and you really got to mind your P's and Q's in a pirate organization like that. But strictly aside from what we're talking about, all the things we're talking about, that's if you want the niceties of the system. You can, if you can operate in a pirate outside of all that shit because you're smart enough to do it and have the resources, that's kind of a better, more free way to live, because then you don't have to deal with that stuff. However, we are going to have to deal with the inventive side of how people are not going to totally want that in the main. Not everybody's going to become a pirate. That's that's not for everyone. So
Cliff is down for it, but
I'm down for it. I was laughing with Allison after we watched The Sopranos for the first time. Well, she had watched it for the first time. I hadn't watched it in years, and damn it, wouldn't you know, there's Wizard of Oz all over it. So V-Stag Wizard of Oz, and that I hadn't caught before because I hadn't watched it since I really took on my work in that capacity. Well, what's funny about it is like, I started identifying with like this way of life with the mafia and just finding the merit in it because there's so much merit. It's like, that guy fucked up, he's dead. And I found myself looking at her like, I want to join the mafia. This sounds like a way better way to live. And that's just like saying I want to be in a pirate gang, the mafia has
that way as well. Yeah.
So I was being hyperbolic about it, but I do kind of vibe with, if things go the way that I think they're going to go, I might not have another path for myself to kind of eke out, because I don't know how much effort it'll take to bring people along otherwise. Like, just that area of conversation about smart contracts and the regulations behind it. That was a thankless task for me for 4 years of my life when I was doing that in the, you know, trying to reset the security space back when I still thought that was possible, you know, and I'm just,
You thought it was redeemable at all?
Yeah, I really did. I really did. And, I gained a lot of, you know, whatever.
Well, I want to hit on one more, which was probably the whole reason you were most excited about this. There was one more Elon tweet that just made my day, made my freaking day. Had a Q in it. It's got a.
And he's in the Emerald City. Look at that.
It looks like Oz. I mean, it was green.
He's at the friggin' Masonic Emerald City.
He says, "What would happen if you take a DayQuil and a NyQuil at the same time?" And he's literally got like these. Oh, this is just the one where it's blown up. Sorry, this is not.
Oh, it's okay.
Picture of it. And he's got like, I don't know who that is with him. It's him with like his. Is
that the Supreme Court Wisconsin guy?
Oh, maybe.
Is that who that is?
Maybe that is who it is. They just found all that fraud in that vote in Wisconsin. Maybe that's who that is. Okay. But that is very Wizard of Oz. It's like green. I mean, the floor, the whole bit.
And it's the CIA, the mind control the mind control headquarters,
sure.
You know.
And then it's very Matrix, you know, he's got the big long
and it's really indicative of that famous scene from the Matrix when Trinity and Neo go into the lobby of the building and they just shoot the entire place up and all of the marbles exploding off the walls. And he's holding the two MP5s in that way. I think that's what Neo pulls out, the two MP5s, and just start. You know the scene. It's a badass scene.
Yeah,
it's well choreographed.
Like once or twice, but like I'm not a big shoot 'em up.
Okay, well, listen to what this might tell us. What the Steg would say, right?
Yes,
like if that scene would play out, think about if that scene were to play out now. They're in the lobby of the CIA. It would destroy the lobby of the CIA if that scene were to play. Let me see if I can find.
What's JFK's quote? Hold on. I have it.
I don't know.
I have it right here.
Here we go.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and secret proceedings. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed.
JFK talking about Judaism there? Oh, it sounds like he is.
Israel. No, and that was the wrong quote. I'm sorry. I had it mislabeled.
I know the one you're talking about. I know
the one where he said I'll splinter the CIA into a million pieces.
That's the one.
That's the one I thought I had.
Well, pull up the clip I just shared with you because that's what I'm thinking. Like that's
splintered. Okay.
Yeah.
Tired of fleeting health fads and endless supplement stacks?
I'm terribly tired of it. Jesus.
I am tired of health fads. Okay, hold on.
There we go. You'll see this kind of has a green tint to the whole screen too. So
it does. Like a tornado does.
He puts it through the metal detector.
It's got like items you're carrying, keys, loose change.
I might have some loose change.
Shit!
Oh my god. Now the MP5. Okay. First thing we pulled out.
Back up! Stand back up!
Stand back.
See all the marble pylons, just like the lobby that Elon's in. And then the after the action, it's good to go in there. This is all the sick choreography that they did. And so you just fast forward to the end of the scene, like at where the arrow meets. Here you go. Yeah, just watch from here. But the lobby just gets destroyed. That's the whole point of this scene. Like it just falls apart.
On.
Here it is. She picks it up and everything and they look back at the lobby and the marble just starts falling down.
Oh my God. It's destroyed.
So there you go. I mean, that's the scene that they're referencing, though. Very clearly so. Like, and your quote that JFK mentioned, I think it's probably part of the puzzle, huh?
Sorry.
Is this the fracturing of the CIA into a million pieces?
Yeah. Well, it's JFK's quote. Yeah. Yep.
So what do you think the markets are going to have to face us now, up to the point where we have to reject the first thing that they hand us with the money system?
Well, I'm guessing since we're so tied to Japan, and, I was hearing that Japan's market is, failing these bonds. And then that guy was talking about bonds with doing the probate.
Yeah. And then there was that whole cryptic thing that Trump was like talking about Shinzo Abe. We had a great deal. You would have loved the deal. Too bad you're never going to get to see the deal that we made. Remember he said that today.
And he signed two things today. He signed one thing that he said closed the loop with China, and then he signed the tariff thing.
He said close the loop, huh? I wonder what that's about. Do you have any ideas what if that is alluding to anything?
I do not.
There's definitely something with that Japan stuff. He spent too much time reminiscing on his buddy. Oh, Shinzo, unfortunately, he was taken from us too soon. Assassinated in cold blood.
Oh, the other thing was we were talking about right before we got started. Cliff had tweeted.
Oh yeah, Cliff was talking about the French yesterday. I think he was, right?
I think so. And I don't know if it was this morning. Yeah, I have it right here. I have both of them. Let me present this really quick. So everybody knows Le Pen got banned. She's on house arrest for 2 years. She got banned from running in the elections in France for
and then they were talking about arresting her in addition to that for some reason.
Yeah, she's on house arrest for 2 years. She has to wear an ankle
bracelet.
Faces
jail. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, she has to wear an ankle bracelet and something else. Or that was what I had heard. So he says no country does revolution quite like France. So French Revolution 2.0 for the first week in April. And he had seen this and we had talked about it previously. The building tension values change daily based on decisions made today. But as the last analysis, here's the overall projection for the remainder of 2025 as of March 1st. So I noted for last few months at the end of the first week of April, we'll be setting the tone for summer. 54 was building tension value that was achieved on July 13th, 2024, when they shot Trump. This chart broadly aligns with the Vedic astrology transits. So this goes through.
And these are his emotional tension values
Right.
People, I don't know if people are going to be, I think most people are familiar, right? Like,
but if we're here, like,
yeah. Well, it was even, I remember the one he even did like 2023 going into 2024, maybe like an end of year review, something. I remember him saying like, we've never seen 38 before. and 38 was coming, and now we're so far past that as a baseline for everyday life. It's
right.
So
and
funny.
so this is 54 for the end of this week. So then right before I saw that, I saw this, and it says, breaking, over 300,000 French people have signed a petition demanding that Marie Le Pen's presidential ban is immediately overturned in just 24 hours. Her National Rally Party also gained more than 10,000 new members since Monday. The French are waking up. And I want to say the remote viewing guys had like where people were walking a woman out of a jail or something like that.
Oh, did they? So they're going to go. And I mean, I think it's not fair to the French to say they're waking up. I mean, the Gilets jaunes thing was probably gonna have more momentum than it did had COVID not hit, or
Was that the yellow jackets?
The yellow vests.
Yeah, the yellow vests. Mm-hmm.
And it died down because of COVID. I mean,
right.
But to say they're not awake is, I think, not fair to them. They have corrupted city centers like we do. So you go out to the countryside, those motherfuckers are ready for war.
Right. Well, they were spraying poo on their like parliament and stuff. Remember all that? Their farmers were spraying all the poo.
Yeah. Or was that the Dutch? The Dutch were probably doing it too. I think it was all the farmers, honestly, that were using all those similar tactics. But yeah, the French were involved.
I'm so American. I apologize. Actually, I don't apologize at all, but I'm so American. Yeah. So this is like, we are here.
Yeah. So
the rest of 2025,
we're at 54.
First week we're at 54,
and it's only Wednesday. I have a feeling that we haven't gotten to that peak yet, because I
said later
don't have the consequences of what today's tariffs are going to beep on markets into. I don't know. The list is so long. All of these reciprocal tariffs.
Yeah. He posted them on Truth Social. I rolled through them, but I think
near the bottom, it just says 10%, because that's all it is for. It's a baseline 10%, and then a bunch of other countries have more, and yeah. So, how long do you think we do have until the first rejection of the new money? Because remember, there were 3 of them, right? 3 rejections. Did y'all see the data point at what does it say at Walgreens?
Oh, he said something about a shooter in Walgreens. Someone posted in the Telegram. There's a link in the description of this video for a free Telegram group where the community posts information and stuff. And so there's always great stuff in there.
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't see that myself. I didn't know there was a shootout at Walgreens today. But I have to believe there are going to be a lot of shootouts at a lot of different places that we won't even hear reported anymore, because people are just going whack nuts now.
Yeah. I saw where a bunch of like teen to early young people were flipping out at a mall in the Bronx, and they had to close the mall down. And
they're just mobbing the malls now too, like they did at peak 2020.
It's just kind of wild.
And that's just like what the retail stores need. Get all the stuff that they bought before, also because they piled up on pre-tariff goods too. Just like Lululemon. I read an article today. Lululemon's might be done for because they bought way too much stuff, and nobody's buying anything in the spring, yoga wear related, because they don't have friggin' food.
Well, if people don't know, you can take your Lulu back if it becomes damaged.
Oh yeah, they're like LL Bean that way, aren't they? Where you can just
wear it forever, and yeah, if it gets a hole in it or whatever, like take that back and go get some new stuff for free.
Son of a bee! I gotta get Allison to get rid of. I don't even think she remembered that that's the case, but I think I recall that is the LL Bean no limit return policy.
Sears used to have that when my kids were little, and I would buy my little boy's jeans there. I'd buy his Levi's there because you'd get holes in the knees all the time.
Yeah.
I could take him back. He's almost 30 now. That was a long time ago.
That was, yeah. We had, what is it called? Mervin's? I think that was what the store was called. I think it was called Mervin's.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
And they're no longer around. I think they went away in 2008.
Like Anthony's. There was Anthony's.
I remember that one.
Mervin's.
There were a lot of these that were regional. Like they were the same kind of department store, but a
different family would buy them in that area. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe one of these days.
Well, I wish you Godspeed this week, Lisa. What should we look out for I guess the other thing that happened today, the last thing was the what the hell was it?
Was there another
something related to trafficking?
There was a huge arrest. Yeah, Melania posted.
Yeah, that's the one I was looking at. We're looking for.
So yesterday she had a beautiful speech and posted about love and all this and was talking about the trafficking. And then, of course, Van Dam got arrested.
That's the one. There we go. There it was. That's the one I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
He was just found doing what made that weird to me is
there was also some
all over Twitter like the other day with some weird dance he was recreating from his old. Yeah, here it was. Here it is.
And Val Kilmer died this morning.
Yeah, Val Kilmer died this morning too.
Which was he? I don't know.
So this was just something from the other day that was going around Twitter, and I don't know why. This was.
Oh my.
He was like recreating the old dance from whatever the hell that movie that is, but
that's odd.
I don't know how connected this is, but I found it weird just in the coincident nature that it was the day this all was going down. That here, because a lot of the stuff is like, wow, he still got that swagger. Ooh, look at those hips shake, like all the comments. So it's maybe almost supposed to be like a counter psyop, like, yeah, Van Damme's still cool, isn't he? And because I hadn't heard anything relating to Van Damme for years until I saw this little dance, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's accused of trafficking.
Yeah.
Weird.
Creepy.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what next week has. We'll probably find some natural things to discuss without much labor in trying to look for places for the stories to pop out.
Yeah.
If we're at 54 by this time next week, like I said, like what is it going to be? Something's going to happen by Friday, right? For it to be at 54 emotional tension on Cliff's scale.
I would think so. Maybe the arrest that Elon's talking about. Are
they going to arrest Jamie Dimon?
I don't think he stole 400,000 social security numbers, but maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, something's got to give with the redistribution of recompense for all the social security fraud too.
Well, the fact that that is, they said that they checked through and they saw that those people were registered to vote, did vote, and that is foreign interference in our elections. And then we saw today the stuff with Wisconsin and the Supreme Court and all of that. So there are, as much as it feels like some days there are not things happening, there are a lot of things happening all the time. So
it's just not the Epstein list that everybody wants.
Yeah. But, like here, Melania is talking about human trafficking, and then you know, there was a huge human trafficking bust, 2 million user international pedophile child porn ring busted by Europol. So like, you know, things are happening.
2 million users. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just in one ring?
In one child porn ring.
My God, that must be like digital distribution or something. Unless it's like, I don't know.
There's that many sick people out there. That's why like this needs to end and it needs to come out and people need to know and people need to hear about it.
Maybe that's why Heidi's seeing so many plane crashes, because they're just sending the pedophiles up and then just nuking the pilot.
Yeah.
The assassin shoots the pilot and parachutes out in the plane.
There's no pilot.
To the earth with all the pedophiles.
Yeah. They're just droned.
And they're hiding it with all of the plane crashes. I just solved it. There it is. There's my theory.
That was in Cliff's data too, though, that there were going to be people trying to take off and hide or trying to escape or whatever. And then he talked about people falling, a lot of plane crashes, a lot of.
Oh yeah. It was all over it for years. It was, I mean, it was all over the old Alta reports even before he switched to the I don't know what he called it, the crypto, the bare naked wealth. That's what he called it.
Bare naked wealth. Yeah.
But for some time.
So I say I hope for arrests later this week. That would be wonderful.
Penny Kelly's books too. Hold on just a second. I think Penny Kelly's book had something like that in there too.
He's gone. He's moving fast. So throwing lots of magical money printer.
This is the one that she famously wrote called The Robes. I was telling you about where the little monks came to her and they were giving her visions, but she how deep are the inside of the carry the drill to She's talking about Atlantis, lots of stuff. While the story of Atlantis may or not be true, it is obvious that there is a place called America. This place has great power. We have developed some extraordinary technologies, and because we do not recognize or honor our oneness with nature, we will likely be destroyed by our technology. It's not necessarily the technology of war that will bring us down. It's the technology of the everyday. The technologies of creating artificial food by means of chemical processing, or an agriculture which destroys soil, weakens plants, kills insects, birds, animals, eventually people. This is 1999 when she first published this. Our demise is hidden in the technologies that allow us to keep us warm with fuels that pollute the air, blah, 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 blah. All the stuff that we know of, right? Cars, clothes. She's talking about synthetics in our clothes. I mean, this is how kind of funny it is to read this book, because you're like, holy crap, Penny, you're onto some crazy stuff here. But in this book, I'm not finding in her epilogue kind of like a nice write-up of it, but she does ascribe the corporations to be the end of all of this. And that these heroic battles that humanity would have to fight in the spiritual realm in this time to come, because the corporations would not be able to come along with the shift of the consciousness, the singularity. She,
and Kim Clement, who I think passed in like 2014, had his visions and all that. And he talked about like that America would come together when they stopped eating their children. Literally, he used those words. And that America would come together. There wouldn't be a right and a left, and they would come together. And so I think that's what we're going to see. I think they're going to start.
And literally and figuratively too. I think it would horrify people to consider that if you've eaten fast food before, you may have eaten human.
Yeah.
Because I think it's legal in every state except for Idaho. I'm pretty sure.
I saw a video about that, like that cannibalism is legal, and they drew like which states it's legal in. And so how
just like recently?
Yeah, it was going around on Twitter or something.
You're kidding. So the cannibalism thing is coming up on Twitter now. It's like, I didn't see this yet.
Yeah, somebody was drawing a map of like which states it's legal in.
Well, that gives whole new context to eating your children too. I know the metaphoric and like figurative way that it's conveyed is obvious there, but yeah,
well,
it's got,
Trump, they just stopped paying Planned Parenthood and all that kind of stuff. And so all of that is ending now. And so
there's an X-Files episode, by the way, about this, about I think it's like a KFC kind of a food chain in the episode. It's like a fried chicken place.
Oh, and they said they had to change the name of KFC. Why did they change the name? Why did they change the name from Kentucky Fried Chicken to KFC? And that's why. And
what? What is that? Oh, because they have human in their meat?
Something allegedly like that. Like, anyway, search it up, people. It's more than you want to ever know. But
Our Town is the episode I'm talking about from X-Files. When they're investigating murder in a southern town, Mulder and Scully find evidence of modern day cannibalism and its links to eternal life. Because that was weird. That's what was weird in this episode about the guy that ran the chicken place. He was like a Colonel Sanders kind of a guy, but he was like ageless. He'd been running this thing since the 1800s and he was still alive. Kind of a thing. And so that was the spookiness of the episode. And they investigated and they were like, there are people being ground into the chicken meat, and there it is.
X-Files. There's those
Our
stories
Town
that come out all the time that, they had to shut down the McDonald's plant or whatever because of what they found. And then they're like, oh, it wasn't, it was just someone's sweat.
Yeah. I think it gets pretty dark.
It wasn't. Yeah. Anyway, we digress. But anyway,
at least 40 people listening from fast food that they're going to stop on the drive-through and get on the way home.
Don't eat it. Go
Just
home.
because it's fried in beef tallow doesn't necessarily mean it's not human. We got RFK's not going far enough, Anyway.
Oh man, stay away from all the stuff. All right, guys.
Sorry.
We'll see you next week. Tomorrow's Thursday. Got some great news from, maybe it's not great news. We'll see what Johnny thinks about Fidelity's new IRA. Maybe
they have a self-directed one or something.
They have an IRA with Litecoin, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. So we'll talk about that tomorrow with Johnny Litecoin.
I'll tune in if I can.
All right. Take care.